My name is Whitney Wilson, and today I'll be talking about minimum wage and the economy. The article that I reviewed is Pros and Cons of Raising the Minimum Wage by Allison Doyle. In 1938, the minimum wage was first introduced to America, and it was 25 cents an hour. Since then, 29 states have a minimum wage higher than the federal salary floor. Throughout her article, Doyle states both pros and cons of why she feels that it would be a good idea and a bad idea to raise the federal minimum wage. She also discusses state and local initiatives to raise minimum wage. One of the reasons she listed on the pros list to increase minimum wage is that she believes it would increase the standard of living for many people. She states that minimum wage hasn't kept up with inflation, and as a result, many people are living in poverty. But according to a research by the American Enterprise Institute, only 11.3% of workers who would gain from the increase belong to poor households. They found this as a result because most people who are living in poverty are unemployed. She states one of the cons of raising minimum wage would be an increased unemployment rate. A quote from her article was, "An increase in the minimum wage would provide an incentive for employers to invest in automated processes, technology, and machinery to increase productivity rather than human resources." Basically, we have an opportunity cost here, where does raising minimum wage outweigh the risk of possible unemployments and layoff due to people being laid off because they don't need as many workers, or technology being used to replace the workers? We found that teenage workers and workers with lower human capital would face the most risk of being laid off. Another reason on her pros list would be reducing gender and race-based inequality. According to the Economic Policy Institute, women comprise the majority of workers in the largest low-wage occupations. 35 million people would benefit if minimum wage was increased to $12 an hour. Of those 35 people, over half of them, 55.9% to be exact, are female, and 40% of women of color would profit as well. In conclusion, Doyle presented many interesting points concerning the federal minimum wage. Overall, throughout my research, I've concluded the advantages of raising minimum wage greatly outweighs the risks.